Just after the 7th day of the Lunar New Year, the school has sent a text message to inform the students that classes will resume in 3 days. Senior 3 students have no human rights. Luo Yin huddled in the chair to watch the show. The progress of the Spring Festival work was 1/17, but he didn't panic at all. On the desktop screen was JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Phantom Blood, and Eeyore was delivering the classic I'm No Longer a Human Being. Luo Yin quite likes this anime. The plot is old-fashioned and the style of painting is unique, but it has an indescribable charm. JoJo has never been able to go out, and he has nothing to do with him. Luo Yin is the kind of marginal person who can be turned off for half a month without incident. He is the only one at home, a bowl of instant noodles with marinated eggs and ham sausage, the breeze blowing in from the window after Zioxu, it is quite cold. Parents and school teachers all said that he was very relieved, and Luo Yin had a good reputation among his classmates. But to talk about friends, real friends, there are probably only 1.5. His communication strategy has always been to be nice to people while maintaining an absolute line of defense. Buzzing. The phone received a text message from Liu Beifei, it. Since his parents divorced when he was in his first year of junior high school, his mobile phone notes changed from his father and his mother to Liu Beifei and Luo Kadai. She won't come back for dinner tonight. This is the norm, he is used to it. Every Sunday, Luo Kadai would pick him up to play for half a day, and Liu Beifei's on the other days. He couldn't tell whether it was more embarrassing for the half day on Sunday or more embarrassing like this. It is said that Luo Daddy had a good life in his early years, but then his life took a turn for the worse. Now he drives for the leaders of the city, employs the system, and has other part-time jobs. Every month, he has to be swollen and fat, and send 3,000 yuan in alimony, which is estimated to be more than half of his income. Liu Beifei graduated from a prestigious university and was deceived by Luo Daddy's good looks and sweet words. He got married, had children, and quit his job. After Luo Yin went to primary school, Liu Beifei was employed to subsidize the family again. He was promoted very quickly, became busier with work and had more quarrels, and later left. Luo Yin was lying on the bed, his mind was empty. Today is his birthday, Liu Beifei and Luo Kadai both remember it. There are 2 12-inch cakes in the refrigerator, one with chocolate ice cream and one with tropical fruit flavor. I don't know why I bought it so big. Luo Kadai drove the leader on a business trip. Liu Beifei was still socializing, busy mixing water into the liquor. He is doing nothing. Luo Yin's mind is full of memories from a long time ago, the smell of the old house in the suburbs more than 10 years ago, Luo Daddy riding a shiny black motorcycle with his family for a ride at the beach, the mango-flavored ice cream he ate at the playground on weekends, the cinema. The smile illuminated by the dim light and shadow, and the magic that Luo Daddy used to tease him when he was a child, the golden eyes. Many memories have been blurred, and it is no longer a series of plots, but only fragments. When the 18-year-old man broke the defense, his nose was a little sore. Suddenly, a new picture entered his mind. The phantom of a group of snakes dancing wildly, the roar of fury and rage, the stench of bronze, steel, and blood, the broken sword, the burning palace, the copper pillar in the sea reaching the sky. The huge frame of the White Emperor was crushed by absolute violence, and the dragon-shaped servants with armor and swords were as numerous as the sand of the sea. The monarchs of black and white hold sharp blades and strike back and forth across the land, sky, thunderclouds, mountains, and deep sea. Tsunamis, earthquakes, thunder, and storms are all praises of the new emperor. Falling from the sky and ascending from the abyss, the pure black blade pierced through the white emperor, and the black dragon used capital punishment to destroy the rebels. The victor carved an inscription on the towering bronze pillar, proclaiming his eternal reign. Those blood-stained inscriptions surged back and forth in Luo Yin's mind, giving him a splitting headache. He seemed to be able to understand a little bit of the power represented by those wonderful words, but it was difficult to go deep. When Luo Yin was awake, sweat soaked the pillow, and he was a little nervous. Did you just have a nightmare? The War of Dragons is so real and cruel, and he seems to remember a little of those complicated inscriptions. He subconsciously recited the ancient language in his mouth. His fingers were placed on the bedside table, and his eyes glowed with a touch of gold, like two golden fireflies. Bedside table material, wood, cheap wood chips pressed with wood chips and glue, weight, about 19.30 kilograms. There are 2 books and headphones in the first layer, and 3 pairs of socks and a set of pajamas in the second layer. The lower left corner is severely worn, and the metal connection of the second layer is easy to get stuck. Luo Yin? Her eyes looked at the instant noodles on the table. Master Kong braised beef noodles, temperature, 47 degrees Celsius, ingredients, fried noodles, 1/3 ham, a very small amount of frozen vegetables, energy, 320 kilocalories, solid, 409 kilocalories, all. Is this a superpower? The amount of information he acquired about things around him instantly increased by several orders of magnitude. Just standing in the room, he can know what the occupants are like, the detailed information and purpose of every item in the room, and almost every data about his body. But this seemingly omniscient mode only lasted for more than 10 seconds, and he fell to the ground screaming, his body twisted like a big caterpillar. His physical strength was drained directly, and his brain seemed to be hit back and forth by the elevator door and a sledgehammer. Dragon Language Analysis System has been opened. Dragon language is the exclusive language of dragons and mixed races. Dragon language not only conveys information, but also carries the power of dragons. Mastering the dragon language is the basis for gaining insight into the powers of the dragon race, language, alchemy, etc. Boy, work hard towards the 8th level of the dragon language major. Currently parsable objects, 1, parsable times, 1, do you want to start parsing? Start parsing. Analysis object, Luo Yin, class hybrid, analyzing the spirit of words, mirror pupil analysis time, 3 hours analysis begins. Ouch! My brain! When Luo Yin woke up again, it was already 10 o'clock in the evening. Luckily, I didn't turn into dementia. There was a missed call from Liu Beifei. When I called back, the line was busy again. He started sorting out the huge amount of information that suddenly appeared on his birthday. First, he acquired an ability called Yanling. Mirror pupil. You can instantly obtain a large amount of information about objects and life around you, but the physical energy consumption is too large, and no other functions have been found yet. Second, what kind of dragon language parsing system is this? The function is to learn dragon language? This thing looks like a hook, but he doesn't quite understand the direction of the hook. Is it to become a diplomatic talent between dragons and people? Also, his eyes can shine with golden light. The magic that Luo Kadai teased him when he was a child is real, and his father is also a little dragon. We have to find a chance to talk about it as soon as possible. A few hours ago, he was still in the confusion of doing nothing, but now it is because things are developing too much and he doesn't know what to do. In the dragon language parsing system, Yanling has been parsed. Yanling. Mirror pupil effect, collect and copy the detailed information of objects and life. Advanced users can copy words and entities attribute, spirit sentences used, 40 sentences in total, 19 types Yanling construction model, as follows analysis of the cooling conditions, the time is 3 months, and the host creates an alchemical item based on the Yanling. Mirror pupil model. The moment he saw the model, Luo Yin's brain shut down. How about learning a foreign language? The structural model of the mirror pupil is a sphere, and the field of manufacture is also a sphere. The system indicates that there are 2 modes of existence of the dragon language. One is the inscription of the sentence, and the other is the geometric line pattern corresponding to the inscription of the sentence. There are no words or letters in the dragon language, and its basis is sentences. The inscription patterns corresponding to 19 kinds and 31 sentences form a THRELE structure from the inside to the outside of the sphere. The sentence patterns on each layer are fitted with each other, and the outer end is fitted with the outer layer. A single sentence does not carry any power. The chanting process when releasing the word spirit is not linear, but three-dimensional, and it is the simultaneous superposition of different sentences. Time, frequency of sound, and loudness of sound correspond to the three dimensions of space in the model. Statements are like basic notes. When the notes are arranged correctly, and the pitch and loudness are correct, the correct tune can be output. The language of the dragon, as precise as the gears of a machine, as beautiful as the singing of a singer. Manufacture of alchemical items, word spirit. Mirror pupil model recommended carriers, transparent and translucent ore, dead metal. Poor alchemists can also try their luck with glass. Recommended inscription materials, mercury, jade, pure gold. The poor alchemist can only use his own blood. Beginner tip: you can try to start with a sing-lila or single-sided structure first. Luo Yin, let out a desperate cry. After the selection is completed, the carrier is made of glass, and the material is self-bleed. The model of the mirror pupil, the innermost light red part is 2 modules. Although Luo Yin had never seen Long Wen before, he could roughly understand the meaning, namely exploration and memory. The dark blue part of the middle layer is the processing and transformation of information, the white part of the outer layer is copying, that is, the function he has not yet mastered. Without hesitation, he extracted the smallest module, the innermost memory module. The inscription pattern on the sphere is flattened into 2 dimensions, with a total of 5 sentences, 2 of which are repeated. Luo Yin couldn't wait to start copying the dragon language sentences on the paper and drawing the corresponding patterns. I have to say that this kind of text is very beautiful, although it is a ghost painting for most people. Making alchemy items requires the inscription pattern to be exactly the same as the original dragon inscription, and he has to use a carving knife and etching solvent to carve it out at one time on the glass within a certain period of time, which is not a little difficult. He is excited now. I can hardly wait to get the alchemy items out tonight. Kaka, the sound of the key opening the door. It should be Liu Beifei back. From the appearance alone, Liu Beifei may only be around 30 years old, with a natural beauty. She must have been drinking a lot tonight, her face was flushed, her body smelled of alcohol, and she was swaying when she walked. Luo Yin, come out to eat cake. Liu Beifei didn't take off her high heels, and went straight to the kitchen to open the refrigerator door. Luo Yin hurriedly stopped her dangerous behavior of carrying the cake in this state. She saw the fruit cake, the one that Luo Kadai gave. Eyes are a little disgusting. Cut a little of each, and eat the rest tomorrow and the day after. Luo Yin nodded slightly. 18 candles, 9 on each side. Ignite, blow out. I wish all the best in the future. He cut a corner for Liu Beifei and himself, the ice cream on the left and the fruit flavor on the right, and picked a piece of chocolate and fruit from the top of the cake to garnish. Birthday, Heek, happy, vomit. Liu Beifei ran to the bathroom in high heels and started to vomit. Luo Yin patted her on the back and was speechless for a moment. Liu Beifei has been divorced for 6 years and has never started a new relationship. In the final analysis, it is because he is in middle and high school. She is smart, beautiful, kind, and capable. Yu reading www.yuuganshu.com estimates that middle-aged bald men in the company who want to chase her can line up from the top floor to the elevator. In April, Liu Beifei will be 40 years old, and the last good years are about to disappear. At first he was angry all the time, and now he is only sad 6 years later. How beautiful it used to be, how painful it was after it was broken. Sometimes things in the world just have bad results. At 11:30, Luo Yin was too full to say anything. Liu Beifei vomited groggy, he could only carry her onto the bed half lifting, taking off his high-heeled shoes and covering the quilt. He was about to put the cake back in the refrigerator when the phone rang. "Merry Christmas," by Ryuichi Sakamoto. "It's Rocky. Xiao Yin, it's raining heavily here, and it took more than 10 hours to get there. Has the cake been delivered? Son, happy 18th birthday." The man on the other side of the phone was tired. "Happy birthday is playing on the car stereo. I received it. The cake is delicious," Luo Yin said, looking at the cake in his hand that he hadn't had time to eat. "When you come back, I have something to ask." The man hesitated for a few seconds, as if he realized something. "I'll be back tomorrow night, and I'll pick you up at home." "Okay. Is your mother here?" "I drank too much at night and threw up badly, so I went to bed first." "There's no problem." "That's good." Both sides fell into silence, not knowing what to say. "Be careful when you come back, don't drive too fast." 5 seconds later, Luo Yin cut off the phone. There was a faint light of stars and moon on the table, and Luo Yin was eating 2 kinds of cakes by himself in the dark. At 8 o'clock in the morning the next day, Luo Yin couldn't wait to go to the hardware store to buy 10 pieces of 30x30 cm glass plates, etching solvents, and various types of glass carving knives. "Then I went to the supermarket to buy rubber gloves, masks, goggles, a few fine brushes and fixtures." Hundreds of dollars of New Year's money disappeared with a snap. When he got home, Liu Beifei was still asleep. Luo Yin began to practice his hands. Because the alchemy process requires the alchemist's spirit, behavior, and carrier to exist consistently, it is impossible to cheat by mold. The uncle from the hardware store was puzzled when he saw that he didn't buy molds or paraffin paper. Put a layer of plastic paper on the kitchen table and close the doors and windows. The writing brush was glued with an etching solution mainly composed of hydrofluoric acid, and holding his breath, he casually wrote a sentence on the glass plate: "The smell of the world is pure joy." After 2 or 3 minutes, a strange smell came out, and the window was opened for ventilation. His calligraphy is okay, authentic European style. However, the etching solution is too much, resulting in rough edges of corrosion. The corrosion depth and accuracy of the corrosive liquid cannot meet the requirements of alchemy items, and the follow-up has to be done slowly with a carving knife. As for how to use the carving knife, he learned it from the video. Kitchen, writing brush, hydrofluoric acid, tubing teaching, an earthy smell of folk alchemists. The first 2 pieces of glass were basically used for Hansen training and were discarded. For glass carving, the wrist must be strong, steady, and flexible. The few crosses that Luo Yin carved are basically not flying, the wrist is also extremely sore, and there are cracks in the middle of the glass plate. At the beginning of the 3rd block, Luo Yin began to practice the dragon language inscriptions. He thinks he remembers it, but obviously Hand doesn't. There is probably no one in this world who teaches dragon language calligraphy. After the 3, 4, and 5 pieces were abolished one after another, Luo Yin realized the reality. At his current level, it was unrealistic to want to carve a perfect inscription without opening the hook. Yanling. Mirror pupil. When this word spirit only acts on a small glass plate and the brush in his hand, things seem to show him all their information. He even knew the weak points inside the glass plate, the concentration and distribution of the etching solution at the tip of the brush. In 3 seconds, an inscription was completed in one go, and the speech spirit was closed. A few seconds of use won't cause much load on the brain, of course, it will not be able to complete the alchemy items, he is just practicing and memorizing. According to the beginner's guide, making alchemy items is a very metaphysical thing, especially requiring spiritual infusion. Legend has it that those alchemy knives capable of slaying dragons, such as Animaru Kunigang and Tongzi Gong, were cast by almost all of their souls into the casting process to successfully attach alchemy to the sword that could fight pure-blooded dragons. Field. Talking back and forth like this will eventually lead to the continuity of the material circuit, while the spiritual circuit is blocked. Every 10 minutes, he would use the mirror pupil to write inscriptions, and the rest of the time was spent practicing the meticulous work of carving a knife. By the 10th block, 4 different inscriptions had become part of muscle memory, and the use of the knife looked similar to that of a connoisseur with several years of experience. Word spirit is indeed an incredible power. Luo Yin. His body froze. So fascinated, Liu Beifei was standing outside the kitchen looking at Luo Yin dressed as a Frankenstein with a horrified expression, scratching the glass with a knife. "Mom, I do handicrafts. The 3rd year of high school is a bit stressful. How long have you been standing outside?" "It didn't take long. I saw your eyes glow a few times. Remember to pack up." "Well, don't worry. Don't come in, the gas is a little toxic." "Are you going to find your father tonight?" "Right. I'll go together." Luo Yin's right hand stiffened. Liu Beifei took a shower and went to the company to work overtime. Indeed, the pressure of senior year is quite high, and it is normal for children to want to do some manual work. The glowing eyes should be the hereditary of his family that K.D. mentioned, and there is nothing wrong with it. It's not a big problem, a hammer. After Liu Beifei set off, Luo Yin held his breath and released Jingtong with all his strength. The image of Long Wen was copied and pasted 100% into his brain, and it was applied to his right hand without any deviation. The 5 inscriptions poured naturally like flowing water, and they were written in 12 seconds. The moment he closed the mirror pupil, intense fatigue and pain rushed into his brain, but he still managed to withstand it. His eyes were fixed on the etching solution, watching it react, corrode, and volatilize. Open the window, soak the glass in warm water to clean it, wipe it dry, and put the pen to the knife. In this highly tense state, his spirit was extremely peaceful, as if there was no self. After more than 20 minutes of continuous carving and polishing, several dangerous weak points were avoided by him because they were informed in advance, and the 5 dragon words finally fit together perfectly. When he blew the glass powder from the surface in one breath, his spirit could feel that a tiny and wonderful field appeared. Alchemy field. Alchemy item, level 0 unnamed glass plate effect. Destroy this item to obtain a small amount of stored permanent memory stimulation method, inject mixed race or other advanced blood/mercury into the circuit, etc. Note, this is the first work of an alchemist, a glass alchemist. In any case, his talent should be appreciated. Jingtong's word spirit is indeed a cheating existence in reproducing. Without Jingtong, it would take more than half a month for him to practice dragon language calligraphy alone. It went unbelievably smooth, and I quickly became a glass refining master in the morning. The first time to make an alchemy item, reward the exclusive ability, amnesia. Effect, the host can selectively amnesia for specific memories. For host use only. Does not provide alchemy models or related alchemy items manufacturing methods. Luo Yin. Co-author can only self-harm and self-Alzheimerization. As his first alchemy item, it still deserves a better name. Let's call it permanent memory. After taking hundreds of commemorative photos of this piece of ordinary glass from different angles, Luo Yin tapped hundreds of on the phone, flipped it back and forth in front of his eyes, cut his index finger, and blood flowed into the circuit. Smash the glass with a click. Micromemory is indeed extremely small, and if converted into electronic capacity, it is not even 1 KB. With the storage method of pure text memory, he only remembered more than half of those hundreds of words. However, he could feel that more than 200 rhizomes had already taken root in his mind, and even if he forgot his own father and mother, he would not forget those rhododendrons. At this time, he realized how useful the amnesia skill was, otherwise this piece of would permanently occupy the space in his brain, just like a small piece of junk software that couldn't be deleted cleanly. There is one thing to say, this glass plate is sold to college students, it is estimated to be a sky-high price. I can remember it, let alone the words of the liberal arts. To further increase the storage capacity, the first step is to return from the plane to the three-dimensional, and the second is to enhance the value of the carrier and material. With a bloodline of his level, the effect is estimated to be only better than that of black dog blood. After further improvement, it may be possible to use MB and GB as storage units, that is, to store high-definition pictures and video clips in the brain. This is called cyber alchemist. As for the significance of this function, he has to think about it. At least this time around, he doesn't have to worry about his own college entrance examination. The liberal arts he chose himself, math and English were excellent, and it was not enough for him to take the test. Therefore, technology changes destiny. In the afternoon, he went to the hardware store again, but unfortunately there were no glass for sale in the store, so he had to buy an additional batch of glass plates. Another lasting memory was successfully created. Luo Yin felt drained of energy and fell asleep. After 7 o'clock in the evening, Dad Luo called and asked to make up his birthday at the small stir-fry restaurant that the family used to go to. So Dad, did you already know? I can't really know this matter. It depends on the probability. Like your great-grandfather, it is said that he was the big guy in the European secret party, and later died on the road to Toulon. From your great-grandfather to me, I haven't made a name for myself in a generation, and I don't want to get involved in those things. Like me, I don't even have the spirit of words, so I can only barely get a golden eye. Yan Ling. Dad, do you know anything about Yan Ling? I know, Yan Ling is a superpower. It can discharge electricity, throw fireballs, etc. Okay, you don't understand. I thought you wouldn't wake up. After all, you've grown up so much. I didn't expect you to have a rare bloodline attrition phenomenon, as well as the spirit of words. I don't know much more than you about half-breeds, and I can only say that it's not entirely a good thing. When you enter the hybrid world, you enter a new world, a new order. Many of the previous rules no longer restrict you, but there will be new rules to restrict you. Speak straight. When I was digging in England, I used my golden eyes to make way for people in graves, and the result was true. The people of the secret party, the secret party are the tyrants and war madmen among the mixed races. They fined me to 100,000, my hunter status has been revoked, and I have to give them a guarantee every year. Hunter. Similar to a mercenary in a mixed race. The real thing. Dragon corpse and alchemy dragon breath device. So that's how you lost your job and divorced your mother. No. Liu Beifei interrupted the two's whispering. Due to the perfect aftermath measures of the secret party, she only knew a little bit about Luo Kadai's early years, which was not the reason for the emotional breakdown between the two. He has an ex-girlfriend and a daughter in England. He goes to England every year to see her daughter. The braised pork in Luo Yin's mouth suddenly lost its fragrance. His worldview is collapsing. You have a sister named Luo Xin, or Anne Stewart, an English noble. Liu Beifei made up for it mercilessly. Luo Kadai, this handsome and unrestrained man, was paralyzed on a chair like a defeated dog. You had a one-night stand with the eldest lady of the British aristocracy. As a result, they only wanted a child and didn't want you, so you were sent back. Is this the complex world of adults? This is the hybrid world I told you about. Luo Kadai was still sad after many years. Their family is an old-fashioned British half-breed family, and I don't know how old it is. I can only see Anne once a year, and I'm sorry for her. After returning to China, I met your mother, of course it was true love. But then I was deported that time, with a restraining order and never seeing Annie again. Reading www.yuyugonshu.com. I was a little broken at that time, I'm sorry for you. This big man in his 40s is as fragile as a porcelain doll at the moment. Then does Annie have news now? I went to a business school in the United States, but I couldn't get in touch. Liu Beifei gave Luo Yin a wink, don't ask any more, she'll cry. On the way the family drove back, Liu Beifei and Luoyin had a tacit understanding and did not speak, they just looked at the night scene outside the window. There was butterfly kisses in the car, full of hard work. Oh, without have done wrong, although I have made many mistakes, I must have done something right, but I must have done something right to serve a huge very morning. This is worthy of every morning hug and butterfly kisses at night and the kiss of butterflies that night at the door of the house. Luo Kadai seemed to remember something. Don't go to castle, although I don't know what castle is, but don't go to castle. That's where monsters can survive. Luoyin nodded slightly, remembering first. Can you tell me about the Hunter website tomorrow? I want to go up and find out for myself. Okay, I'll send it to you tomorrow. Of course, it is not only about understanding, that may be his way to get rich. Luoyin has been surfing intensely on the Magic Hunter website for the past 2 days. He registered an anonymous account called Alchemy, the Hebrew word for alchemist, full of lack of creativity. There is no permission to receive tasks, only transaction permissions, and the number of published information is also limited. Even through his short 18 years of life experience, he can see that the Hunter website is a mixed ghost place. A lot of irrelevant information, subjective guesses, phishing traps. Only the posts of high-level or site-authenticated users are more credible. At the same time, he also learned a lot from these messy posts. For example, Castle is actually a mixed-race college. And their secret power is really amazing. In such a lawless place as the Hunter website, as long as he posts with 3 words Castle in the title, he will be deleted. This college must not be as simple as a university. The trading model of the Hunter website is similar to that of the Dark Forest. Except for the top gangsters, all the miscellaneous fish adhere to the basic principle of not revealing their identities. He currently has 3 glass plates and a successfully made glass ball, the raw materials he found in the gift shop. The permanent memories made of glass can already store a low definition picture. He uploaded the basic information of the goods on the Hunter website and sold 2 glass plates. The basic functions are noted, and a few clean photos are attached, absolutely free of fingerprints and shadows. He is not too worried about being pirated. Longwen and everyone's spirit resonate slightly differently, natural protective measures. The price is 5,000 yuan for 1 piece, and 8,000 yuan for 2 pieces. The seller is only responsible for the delivery. He is also too embarrassed to be a profiteer. After all, the cost of a single piece may only be dozens of dollars. A level 1 named Alchemy was selling alchemical items on the website. The post soon sank until someone with sharp eyes discovered that the alchemical item was made of glass. Is this a glass product? Yes, glass can carry alchemical circuits. You sure? I'm pretty sure. Immediately afterwards, things quickly developed in a funny direction. This post, which should have disappeared, quickly flooded into a large number of viewers, and the posts piled up from the first floor to the 10th, 100, and hundreds of floors. It shouldn't be so funny, but Luoyin continued to line up with various taunts with perseverance, and copied a lot of the principles of using glass alchemy from the system. As a result, the post was refined and Luoyin was awarded the title of Glass Alchemist. Sometimes things just go wrong. One afternoon, a level 1 trumpet successfully became a popular fried chicken on the Hunter website by selling glass in the alchemy item section. This alchemy, he not only sells glass, but also sells it seriously, and has created a whole theory of glass alchemy craftsmanship. Even if the big guy goes out to fish with a trumpet, the entertainment is already full. In the process of high-intensity landing on the network, Luoyin has forgotten the basic principle: keep concealment. Just 18 years old, he still lacks experience and concentration. The number of views of the post is getting higher and higher, and keywords such as alchemy item, circuit, glass alchemy process are detected, and powerful network monitors on the other side of the ocean have turned their attention to here. Her name is Norma. 1 minute later, an analysis report was copied to the executive department in a mysterious office. Adult magazines, whiskey, Mao Tai, and Lo Mei are the main themes of this room. Lying on the large sofa is the master in the shadows of Castle Academy, the legendary master of alchemy, the brave who is destined to end the tyranny of angers, and the great wisdom and integrity. Vice-Chancellor, Leonardo Flamel. My dear son, when you go to China to recruit students, you must remember to go to the good places I recommend. Bring me Mao Tai and Nai Olanshan. I'm the director of the ethics committee. I won't go to the good place you mentioned. Manstein put his hand on his forehead. He is in charge of recruiting students in southern China this year and has been busy for more than a month. Every time he talks to his blood relative, his blood pressure will skyrocket, doubting the authenticity of this drunkard, stallion, and CP as the Dragon Slayer hero of the secret party. It is precisely because you are the director of the Ethics and Discipline Committee that you have to learn to use power for personal gain. That old boy in Angers can set up a student scholarship every year for the money he goes to Paris to see his thighs. Manstein put his hand on his forehead. Wait, Norma sent me a document. Why did Norma send me a document? She knows I don't work at all. Manstein cut off the phone. If Castle College were to die suddenly on the road to slaughtering dragons in the future, his biological father would be at least half responsible. The vice principal opened the report. He was stunned for a moment. Ha 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 ha. Glass alchemy, have young people given up their brains in order to make a living? Ha 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 ha. He continued to scroll down and saw the circuit in the photo. Then there is a comparison photo of AL790908B, an unremarkable collection in the ice cellar. It was an obsidian alchemy product he found in his early years. It has a very peculiar function and can make the user remember a person forever. The circuit structure on the glass plate is somewhat similar. The wine seemed to wake up a little. He shook his head and continued to scroll down. It is Alchemy, Luo Yin's lineup record, about the principle of glass alchemy. The smile gradually disappeared. The last page is an interim investigation on alchemy. It is presumed that this item is a modern product. Judging from the cut surface and the wear condition of the circuit, the manufacturing time is less than half a year. It is speculated that the manufacturer is Luo Yin, a mixed blood in the wild, and the bloodline level is unknown. Luo Yin, born in 1989, is 18 years old. His father, Luo Kadai, was a class mixed race and was punished by the secret party for illegal tomb robbing. Mother Lu Beifei is human. 3 generations of my father's lineage used to be members of the secret party before. Life and education experience are as follows, omitted. Flamel nearly ate the glass. Class descendants, is the bloodline D or E. At the age of 18, he has never been in contact with the dragon world at all, and he has tinkered with alchemy items by himself. His first instinct told him that this glass plate might be the real thing, and Luo Yin's ordinary resume was guided by an excellent alchemist. Let the executive department buy it, observe it, and deal with it. Report the result to me. Your instructions have been received. Norma is at your service. The vice principal called his son immediately. My dear son, I will accompany you to China for this admission. Let's take a father-son trip. Manstein, vomit. This slanted the door. In the middle of the night, Luo Yin suddenly received a private message on the Hunter website, which was a transaction request. From Rex Lin, an old user. The price is 7,500 yuan, and both are required. Within 3 days, the seller will place the goods in one of the 10 designated abandoned mailboxes in City X, Lu Mingfei's mysterious hometown. Take pictures and the buyer will pay. The buyer will pick up the goods themselves, and if the seller commits fraud, the buyer will take all measures to retaliate. It looks pretty safe. Luo Yin decided to accept the transaction and provided the bank card number. He opened an account in the bank very early, and most of it was pocket money that Luo Kadai desperately wanted to give him, and he basically didn't spend it. The next day at 6:30, Luo Yin chose a set of black hoodies and put the 2 glass plates into an inconspicuous cloth bag. Gently took it to the door and took a taxi to a delivery point next to Shilan Middle School. Luo Yin put on his hood and sneaked to a mailbox in a nearby residential building. The cold wind blows on the street in the early morning, and there are few pedestrians. When high school resumes tomorrow, the traffic will be congested. Attention, the target has appeared. Luo Yin took out the cloth bag and stuffed it into an empty mailbox. Photograph. All is well. As soon as he turned around, there were 3 people standing in the empty corridor just now. At the exit is a young Chinese man, tall and straight, and next to him is a strong white man with a mohawk-shaped head that is nearly 2 meters. Above the corridor is a strong Latino man, as strong as Dwayne Johnson. Luo Yin, you were arrested for illegally trading dragon alchemy items. The common feature of the 3 is the logo of the Silver World Tree on the chest, half rotten and half prosperous. Luo Yin glanced at the World Tree logo a few times, and the bulging and solid muscles under the 3 men's clothes, and decided to hit GG. You guys have been here for a long time, right? I should have exposed it after I posted. Why did you wait to come to me now? Our law enforcement officers want to talk about evidence. The young man shook his mobile phone, which contained the law enforcement photos he took. That Rexlin is also yours, right? Phishing law enforcement is not legal evidence. How is that possible? It's just a coincidence. Luo Yin pointed to the famous brand on his chest. The boss was Lin. Coincidence? Doubt requires evidence. If it weren't for the situation being stronger than people, Luo Yin would definitely have smashed his smiling face. Come with us, it won't do anything to you. Little things, not serious, probably just a little ideological education. Lin and the white janitors walked in the front, the Hispanic janitors in the back. In a triangular manner the formation held Luo Yin in the center. Are you from the Castle College? Almost, it's been a few years since I graduated, and I'm doing fieldwork. Level 01, Lin Zhan. The janitor at the end carefully carried the 2 glass plates. After all, this was what the vice principal wanted. The 4 of them walked on the street like a big brother and a younger brother. Luo Yin found that he was not particularly nervous, maybe because these people really didn't look like they were going to cut him into pieces, and he was actually worried about the mysterious Kasai in his heart. Irving College is also a little curious. A few people walked a few streets and went around the corner to the station. Luo Yin turned around and met met an unexpected person, Chu Zihang. Chu Zihang is one of his few friends. It was a coincidence that he in this high school became the president of the Shilan Student Union and the first rich and handsome in X-City High School. In Shilan Middle School, he always insisted on being a man with his tail tucked in, staying far away from most people. But he did well, especially in mathematics. Now that I think about it, it is likely to be the potential influence before Jingtong's awakening. Yu reading www.yuyuganshu.com or conversely, his mathematical ability enabled him to obtain the word spirit of Jingtong. He and Chu Zihang teamed up to participate in a mathematical modeling project for high school students half a year ago. The work of both parties was very reliable, and they did not draw water, so they chatted casually. It was found that they were all divorced families, and their father was unreliable. Although Chu Zihang avoided talking about his mysterious father, his biological father. And there seems to be a natural sense of trust between the two, as if the stand-ins will attract each other. However, since both sides are boring gourds, the communication between boring gourds is limited to nodding and smiling, and there are only a handful of effective exchanges after the game. But in the bottom of my heart, the two sides have always retained the same trust in each other as friends. Chu Zihang was exercising in the morning, jogging at the speed of an ordinary 100 meter sprint. In the winter, the water vapor from his body was like a rainbow. Suddenly seeing Luo Yin being held hostage by 3 strong men, he was stunned. The Threeman team was also stunned for a moment. Do you know each other? We are distant relatives of Luo Yin, and he took us to eat a famous local snack. There was only doubt in Chu Zihang's eyes. Do I look like an idiot? What to eat? I'll be with you too. The big boy's eyes showed a hint of danger, and the two strong janitors instantly froze. Luo Yin gestured to Chu Zihang frantically with his eyes, but the other party would not retreat. I know you know Kendo, the sword saint of the children's palace, but these are all thugs from the Mystery Academy. Calm down for me. He remembered the character of the president who was cold on the outside and hot on the inside. It seemed that Gao Leng was actually at heart. If there was a cat on the tree in the rain, he would go up and take an umbrella to get it down. If he could let a few suspicious strong men take Luo Yin away in broad daylight, then he would not be Chu Zihang. Terrible. The 4-person team turned into a 5-person team, and the Latin American janitor was followed by a paralyzed Chu Zihang. From a close distance, Luo Yin found that he knew too little about the junior and junior brothers in the duo of divorced parents. After awakening Jing Tong, his power of observation greatly improved. He could feel the tense sense of crisis of the two strong men around him, and Lin Zhan was watching Chu Zihang from the corner of his eyes. Among the group, the one with the most stable pace was President Chu. His muscles rhythmically moved like a precise instrument, and his eyes were fixed on the 3 Castle College field workers. If you gave him a famous sword at this time, passers-by would think they were shooting Rurouni Kenshin. In the future, please be sure to introduce me to the children's palace to practice kendo, Luo Yin complained in his heart. Luo Yin used the system to probe the information of several people around him while walking. Although the analysis function of the system is still in a cooling state, it can play an investigation function. Lin Zhan bloodline, B attribute, miscellaneous Yanling, bloodline not word spirit effect, detects the existence of dragons around you, with a large range. When the blood difference is large, it will affect the effect alchemy items, Nun Scout, but the blood rank is B, and his physical fitness is definitely much better than his own. The two strong men are not mixed races, but they are really strong. Unexpectedly, Luo Yin's eyes swept to Chu Zihang behind him. I was stunned. Chu Zihang bloodline, A, special bloodline, attribute, fire word spirit, Junyan, high risk word spirit, temporarily unanalyzable, word spirit effect, create a small range of super high temperature, which will form an explosion shock after diffusion special status, Nibelungen mark I fucking. I didn't expect you to be an Alavel guy with thick eyebrows and big eyes. Where has the friendship of revolutionary comrade arms gone? Among these, you are the one who threatens my life the most. A high-risk Alavel hybrid, a walking petrol bomb, and a fire magician. I didn't expect this to be your true face, junior brother Chu. The Nibelungen mark is particularly weird. According to the system's notes, it means that he once visited the Dragon King and survived. Luo Yin lowered his head and secretly opened his mirror pupils. The low-level use of mirror pupils is to observe and reproduce information, and various details will be magnified to the smallest detail. Thanks to his rotten blood, the golden light in his eyes can't be seen clearly during the day. Among these people, the one with the highest physical fitness is actually Chu Zihang. He did aerobic exercise for about 40 minutes, but the remaining physical fitness was still at the top. He carefully wears black contact lenses in his eyes. Lin Zhan and the two strong men are estimated to be better than Chu Zihang in combat skills, and they both have a Glock pistol and a short dagger hidden on their bodies. Where the 5 people walked, passers-by unconsciously looked sideways. In addition to the 2 big guys and the amazingly handsome Chu Zihang, Lin Zhan and Luo Yin are not bad in terms of appearance, not to mention the serious behavior and atmosphere of the group. The 5 finally sat down at a noodle restaurant. Luo Yin was flanked by Lin Zhan and Chu Zihang, and became more and more panicked. We didn't mean anything. Your friend, he just accidentally did something dangerous. Chu Zihang just looked at him and said nothing. Lin Zhan felt a little numb when he looked at Chu Zihang's paralyzed face. He opened a bloodline knot, and found that this one too slipped through the net. The other party looks underage, but that kind of deterrence is not fake, and there is a high probability that he has awakened himself. Young people are easy to get on, and if the other party's words are deep-blooded and dust-free, if they come to the downtown area, his pension will be gone. Lin Zhan gave in first. It's inconvenient here. Our organization has a small base nearby. Let's go there and tell us in detail. The five stood up, and Luo Yin gave Chu Zihang a thankful look. Rao took a long circle to the other side of Shilan Middle School, an ordinary community. Even if the other party wanted to ambush, they would not choose here. The house on the second floor was empty, and the table was full of instant food waste. Lin Zhan motioned for the two to sit down, but his eyes suddenly changed. Bloodline Luo did not feel the existence of the opposing teammates. There should be 2 commissioners, 2 janitors, and an unstable hybrid who has killed 1 person and seriously injured 1. Things are going to happen. If prisoners are transferred, commissioners will in any case notify each other. Luo Yin subconsciously opened the mirror pupil, and the air molecule information began to be copied and enlarged. The smell of blood, the burnt smell of burning plastic, and a strange drool-like stench. Lin Zhan stopped Luo Yin and Chu Zihang, and led the 2 janitors to the opposite door. It's quiet inside. Raise your gun and kick the door. It's too late. There were broken ropes on the plastic chairs in the living room, and black and red blood dripped everywhere. Neither Luo nor Chu obeyed the obstruction. With the mirror pupils turned on, everything that happened here was clearly reproduced in his eyes. There used to be a person bound here, and his blood seems to be strongly corrosive. He broke his own veins and corroded the rope. Male, about 170 centimeters in height, 8,590 kilograms in weight, injured on his left calf. Luo Yin walked to the dining table. This man first used a strange force to attack the commissioner at the dining table from the side like a frog, piercing the opponent's throat with one blow, and then cutting out the opponent's heart and stuffing it into his mouth. The 2 radial bloodstains on the table should have been caused by this. When the word spirit was activated, the spirit of the dragon race occupied his brain, and these restricted level scenes did not cause much impact on him. His brain was aching, and he had to finish the analysis quickly. He walked to the bedroom with blood on the ground. There was a tall Slavic man lying on the front floor. He got up and went out after hearing the sound. He was attacked and injured his spleen. After fighting for a while, his left arm was twisted and there were corrosion marks on it, which was fatally wounded in his heart. Luo Yin turned his head and looked out the door. After the rescuers killed the commissioner, the right line killed 2 janitors. The 2 did not have time to shoot, but the dagger caused a puncture wound to the escapee, forming a dark red 12-way bloodstain on the ground. Finally, the killer ran to the bedroom. The window was open, and Lin Zhan was checking the blood on the window sill. Luo Yin was about to enter the door, but stopped. The blood on the ground is not right. There are 2 motion trajectories in the bedroom, depending on the direction the blood drop hits the ground. The murderer ran to the window and carefully returned. He's still here, he's hunting. Luo Yin stopped the mirror pupil, and his brain was dizzy. He pointed to the wardrobe in the bedroom and gestured towards Chu Zihang. Chu Zihang was a little surprised, but he still started to chant loudly. Not good. Luo Yin suddenly discovered that after he parsed the speech spirit, he could instantly speak the spirit, while the others had to cast spells and chanting the word spirit. Lin Zhan. Get down. Lin Zhan held his head and squatted down with a bewildered face. Massive fire elementals converge on its monarch, and monsters burst out of the wooden wardrobe. That thing no longer has a human shape, its flesh and skin are mixed with dark cyan scales, and the stench like black blood drips from its whole body, and it emits white smoke when it touches the floor. Deadpool, the spirit of the mixed races, degenerate, and it is the product of a failed transformation into a pure-blooded dragon. The bloodline is infinitely close to the dragons but cannot be reached. Serum extracted from Deadpool's blood can be used to make bloodline stabilizing and evolutionary medicines. Bones are a good material for making anti-word weapons. Cerebrospinal fluid and spinal fluid can be used to fill circuits. Flesh can cultivate low-level agility. Ashes can make mixed blood. Kind of high. Luo Yin? System, were you a Deadpool capitalist in your last life? Deadpool rushed towards Chu Zihang, who was casting spells. His dark pupils without white eyes were full of desire for noble blood. Orange-eared fire snakes wrapped around the boy's body, and the swirling sawdust turned into fly ash in midair. Break! The hot fire pushed Deadpool straight back to the bedroom and pressed it against the wall. The blood evaporated instantly in the high temperature of thousands of degrees, and the skin and scales were roasted to make a strange sound. The wailing of the monster was drowned in the twisted air. The soldiers who were bombed in the trenches probably felt this way. The rewinding blast knocked Luo Yin to the ground, and the flames brushed over Lin Zhan's head, making him smell the smell of burning in his head, and quickly changed from squatting to lying on the ground. Deadpool fell on the bed, and he was able to wriggle even after taking a napalm in the front. The fire element gathered again. Break! The blast hit again, the walls were sunken, the glass shattered, and Deadpool was baked to black. Break! The poor remaining body of Deadpool was roasted by the high temperature to the point of shrinking, and the limbs were bent. Fire element again. Stop, stop! The flames in Chu Zihang's hands dissipated, and his eyes were a little confused. He just lost his temper, and he never saw such a thing since the typhoon. Just seeing this kind of person who is neither a ghost nor a ghost made him feel a wave of disgust and hatred in his mind. Lin Zhan's legs were trembling a little, and the two strong janitors all looked at the gods. They just planned to subdue this boy directly along the way. Carbonized Deadpool. A dead servant is a good dead servant. The ashes can still be used. I'm sorry, I didn't control it well. The facially paralyzed boy apologized solemnly. Nothing. Vomit. Vomit. Luo Yin began to vomit. Yu reading www.yuyuganshu.com. At this moment, the dust has settled, and the dead person, the heart cut, the blood spatter, and the mental overdraft just poured into his heart all at once. There was too much blood just now, it's a little disgusting. Is your brain circuit connected so far on the Qinghai Tibet plateau? Lin Zhan has given up complaining. Ah! The middle-aged woman screamed. Unsurprisingly, the explosion effect is estimated to be audible outside the two buildings. Lu Mingfei. Come downstairs and see what's going on. Okay, Auntie, I'll go right now. The poor boy who was concentrating on playing the stars was so frightened that his earphones dropped. Climbing downstairs, he saw black smoke coming from the second-floor window of the opposite unit building, but fortunately there was no fire. The ground was littered with wood and glass scum. A young man stuck his head out of the window and calmly made up to the residents, his voice full of energy. There was a small-scale explosion on the second floor of Building B due to a gas leak. No casualties were reported. After being notified by enthusiastic people, firefighters have arrived in time to control the fire. Please rest assured. Luo Yin looked at the four dead men in the room and the carbonized dead servant and said nothing. Chu Zihang was really too mature compared to his age. Is that Chu Zihang? Lu Mingfei rubbed his sour eyes after playing the game. He subconsciously waved his hand to say hello, then shrank back. How could the president know him? Chu Zihang was a little impressed when he saw a bad boy waving at him. She seems to be a student of the Shilan Literature Club. She has acted in dramas and seems to have a crush on the girl in the white dress from the Literature Club. So he also nodded and waved. The president actually remembers me. The poor boy suddenly regained his energy, and rushed upstairs again, like a silly roe deer. Chu Zihang, a student who is also excellent in sample studies, is also reasonable to occasionally help rescue the fire. In the room, Luo Yin felt for the first time what is the world of the mixed race, or the world of the dragon race. Power and power are the eternal themes of the dragon world, and even their language is closely related to power. Chu Zihang was able to shred this building, so everyone present should show him the highest respect. Lin Zhan is now lying down completely, looking at the ceiling melancholy with a cigarette in his mouth, bowing his head and knocking back and forth on the tablet to deal with the aftermath. All the heads belong to the macho, and the finishing work is all his. The eyes that catch the target are particularly annoying. The translation of this look means, "Old man, your words are the most useless." He didn't dare to arrest him. He was a piece of iron, and even Deadpool couldn't detect it. 2 level commissioners and janitors lost their lives in an ordinary arrest mission, and also caused such serious collateral damage. Just the report will make him feel better. Just hope it doesn't affect his promotion to A-level commissioner. In fact, it may be a good thing not to rise, there are too many monsters. Layers of cordons were drawn around the residential building, all residents were evacuated, and professionals began to take pictures, collect and bag bodies, clean with bleach, and communicate with relevant departments for honest op services. Chu Zihang was staring at the World Tree logo on their chests. "Who do you serve?" "They are people from Castle College, an academy built for half-bloods. Half-bloods are little dragon people, like you and me. Don't go to Castle." "That's what my dad told me, but they came to the door." "What a bad luck!" Luo Yin groaned. Chu Zihang was startled. This was also a warning from his father, the man who had left him in the wild rain. Looking back now, it was more like a tease with complicated emotions than a warning. "Your phone number is from the leader of our college. The picture is slightly delayed, and what comes to you is a big shining light bulb, or a middle-aged man in the Mediterranean." "Chu Zihang, Luo Yin, hello. I'm a professor at the Castle Academy headquarters, Gerd Manstein." The two stayed at the same time. "My mother is German, and I have nothing to do with that general. Castle Academy is named after the legendary German dragon slayer Castle family, and the proportion of Germans among tenured professors is relatively high. You will get used to it. First of all, I would like to extend an invitation to 2 outstanding dragon blood descendants. Castle College is committed to excavating and cultivating mixed-race talents. On behalf of the college, I apologize for the neglect of the 2. This German guy really speaks fluent Chinese with a hard German accent." Luo Yin, the type, quantity, and function of alchemy items circulated between mixed races must be strictly registered. Since you are a self-made, first-time offender, you will not be punished, but you must register additionally. You can choose to sell samples to the Academy for $5,000. Remittance after the college identification is correct. In addition, the alchemy department of the college welcomes your application. I believe you can achieve good results in mathematics, alchemical engineering, alchemical chemistry, and magic mechanics. Chu Zihang, you have not yet reached the age of admission. If you have the intention of enrolling, you need to attend the preparatory class first. The locations can be selected in Peiping, Chicago, New York, and Hamburg. Regarding your word spirit, Jun Yan, a high-risk level, please submit a detailed report as soon as possible. The basic information about Castle College has been sent to your mobile phone, please check it within 3 hours. If you are sure of your intention, please contact Norma, the college secretary, by voice. This Mediterranean speaks in a straightforward manner, making people feel like a middle-aged, single, dean of education. I'm sure to enroll. The facial paralysis killed the embryo without hesitation. Luo Yin? Abababa. Good junior brother, Revolutionary War friendship. Are you sure to enroll? Sure. Voice print information has been entered. Temporary student number AI891217A has been generated, Chu Zihang. Temporary Alavel permission has been granted. Welcome to Castle Academy. Unlike Luo Yin, Chu Zihang has been chasing the name Castle for several years. You two can leave by themselves after filling out the basic information. I wish all the best. The big light bulb went out. Luo Yin looked at Chu Zihang. There is a sadly thick barrier between us. Jpg. He remembered something and took out a glass ball from his pocket. By the way, Chairman, didn't you say before that you are often worried about forgetting important things? This is an alchemy item I made, and I named it Eternal Memory. A photo, a short audio, a piece of text, etc. can be remembered forever. I'll write a manual for you later. Since it is a gift, it is natural to give the best. For the first time today, Chu Zihang's paralyzed face collapsed. Luo Yin looked at his defense-breaking expression, thinking that you wouldn't be a young Alzheimer's. Glass alchemy benefits mankind. Thank you. The big boy choked out 2 low words. Memory is like a broken hard disk that is easily degaussed. No matter how important the memory is, it will eventually disappear like sand in the wind. Only that man, he must always remember. If even he has been forgotten, the man is really dead. Lin Zhan stared at Luo Yin coldly. This little brat really didn't accept the lesson. It's not a deal, it's a gift. Give you what you can. When I got home, the news was broadcasting a gas explosion in the community of X City, and no one was injured. 2 outstanding students from Shilan High School participated in the fire scene assistance. Liu Beifei didn't see Luo Yin when he woke up in the morning, and was always worried that he didn't go to work. Luo Yin entered the door disheartened. I went out to eat in the morning and saw the fire, so I helped a little. Forgot to call. Liu Beifei hugged him, black and ash sticking all over the skirt. Don't you know how dangerous a gas explosion is? You don't need students to manage the fire. I don't know how to make a phone call. Understood, pay attention next time. I'm sorry. Of course I know how dangerous it is. Jun Yan blew up right next to me. Nasty life. After taking a shower, Luo Yin carefully read the message from Secretary Norma in the room. Mixed race general knowledge, dragon history, words and spirits, alchemy items, college history, educational purposes, professional colleges and departments, student aid programs, employment status, wages and salaries. The material that caught his attention the most was the concept of blood mourning. The hybrids are the descendants of humans and dragons. They naturally regard dragons as mortal enemies, and they think they are better than humans. It's like an awkward middle-aged child in a divorced family. Roy thought. The word spirit of blood ties is used by pure-blooded dragons to hunt down their own kind and devour their powers, while hybrids use it to find their own ethnic groups in the sea of people to keep warm. He seems to be the same. The only close friends were childhood playmates, and now they are a little estranged because of their studies. Half of my friend, Chu Zihang, is a little dragon. The big-headed bear you know from playing games, that doesn't count. Among human beings, Liu Beifei was the only one he could never give up. He kind of believed in blood mourning. For him, there are mirror pupils and alchemy items hanging up, and top universities are within reach for him. But after learning about the existence of Castle College, his instinctive tendencies towards the same kind made him struggle strongly in his heart. Although he knew that his crank bloodline was far from that of Chu Zihang, he was really interested in the alchemy department, so he couldn't make glass all his life, right? And in places where mixed races gather, he can also have more choices for parsing the word spirit. After struggling for a long time, Luo Yin decided to find Luo Kadai to go out to have a barbecue and blow the wind in the evening. With more than 20 skewers of beef and mutton, pork belly, kidneys, and 2 bottles of dark beer, he felt a little dazed. Roddy has an unusual amount of alcohol and has been trained for a long time. Half a caddy of white, 5 bottles of life-threatening big wuzu, were directly drinked. Do whatever you want to do. Fuck it. Why is this white water so tasteless? Xiaoan, I'm sorry for you and your mother, I have no strength. My bloodline is only drank, and I don't have the power to speak. It hurts my eyes to hold my golden eyes. Castle, it doesn't want me, woo woo. Dad? Don't cry, Daddy. Let the past go. It's their loss that Castle didn't want you. Drink less and drink less. Luo Yin, it's numb. The confused teenager asked his father to come out to discuss important life events, and broke his father's defense. That bald German man, Manstein, said that you have talent in alchemy. He encouraged you to apply for the exam and offered you a scholarship. My son is really promising, woo woo. Hey! Yay! Ha 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 ha, the man suddenly roared. Never feel guilty in this life, chasing my sweet dreams for a long time, such as fighting, always reluctant to give up, never give up no matter what, even if the wind and rain are raging, although the will of God is arbitrary, just follow your whole life. I have a dream in my heart. Your tune has flown to Kilimanjaro. Not everyone can be Yang Guo and Ling Hu Chang. Many people want to be Guo Daxia, but their lives are ruined. Luo Yin settled the bill and dragged Luo Kadai to the rental. It was really heavy. The taxi drove to the rental house on the outskirts of the city. From the bustling food stalls, passing through the neon CBD area, the city park with couples and street lights, towards the small rental houses on the outskirts of the city. Every day, he drives a black sedan, shuttles back and forth between cities, and he is busy with his leaders. He has no one to communicate with, and he cannot tell others about his splendid deeds of traveling abroad when he was young. He is probably lonely. Martin Scorsese made a movie, Taxi Driver. The driver, played by De Niro, is busy day and night in the city, seeing the dirty corners of the city. He's addicted to porn, working out his muscles, practicing shooting, sweating and not knowing what to do. He filled his soul with unfounded anger. The middle-aged man did not resist. He just endured it in silence. He has his own lover, growing children. He has done wrong, but he has suffered too much. Master, please wait by the roadside, thank you. Luo Yin carried Luo Kadai to the dark old rental house. His wine was a little sober. Go to castle and live a different life. Go to the paradise of the strong and the dreamer, and venture around the world. Yu reading www.yuyuganshu.com. But remember, before you have accumulated enough strength, don't take part in the dragon slaying action. In that tomb, what I dug up was the mutilated corpse of a dragon that the secret party called the Three Generations. It was an unimaginable creature, holy and evil, and I still remember that dark golden bone wing. Luo Yin nodded silently. Back in the car. There is a message on the phone from 2 hours ago. Chu Zihang, are we going together? Luo Yin, okay. The evening wind blows. He whispered, Norma, I confirm admission. Voice print information has been entered. A temporary student number AI249527C is generated, Luo Yin. Please go to the student information office to pay and activate the Clevel permission after entering the school. Gan. Chu Zihang, okay. By the way, why did you let me use Yan Ling in the morning instead of reminding Commissioner Lin Zhan? Careless. Luo Yin, I see it very accurately. I can see at a glance that you are an extraordinary dragon slayer, and you are much more reliable than Lin Zhan. Chu Zihang, thank you senior brother for your trust. Could it be that I have learned the Tathagata's palm and also told you? Why are you so sure that he will definitely enroll? Blood mourning for Clevel is not that strong, right? Manstein was a little surprised when he saw Luo Yin's admission notice. He will definitely throw himself into our arms, sooner or later. The old cowboy in the floral shirt sneered. Loneliness isn't entirely tied to pedigree, it's geniuses who are lonelier than hybrids. What if he refused? Then just close the door and let go of the heat. Shilan Middle School has just opened for 2 weeks, and there is a big news. Castle College, an aristocratic university in Chicago, Illinois, USA, went to X City for enrollment promotion, and the application and interview point was set at Shilan. There is not much information about Castle College on the internet, but it can be seen that its elegant style and profound heritage. What really excites the students is that they set up a preparatory class to accept applications from high school sophomores. And Chilan's pride, President Chu Zihang also applied for Castle. What level of people is that? What kind of family condition is that? If he can identify Castle, it must be a low-key and connotative top foreign university. But in fact, the entire admissions process is just a cut-off to fill in the program. What they really wanted had already been decided by default. Besides Chu and Luo, there was also a girl whose bloodline was between B and C. Only dozens of thousands of applications were approved, and the interview location was set at the splendid Regent Hotel. In mid-March, the vice principal successfully skipped work and took the Gulfstream special plane from Angers to X-City with his bald son. During the period, the precepts covered by the academy were maintained by the alchemy field, which was much weaker than his word spirit but could be fooled for a few days. At 8 o'clock in the morning, all the interviewees were waiting in the lobby. Most people know Luo Yin, but it is estimated that others do not know him. He is currently in a trance. He just went to apply for the visa last week, and he has to take the TOEFL test in April. The school needs a bottom score, above 90. Sad C grade. The performance improvement of permanent memories has temporarily reached a bottleneck. If you want to improve further, you have to use expensive materials, obsidian, quartz crystal, and various precious metals, dead metals that I don't know what it means. The current limit is a high-definition picture, or a few seconds of blurry and silent picture. It can be used as much as possible. As for the use of other modules, it is more troublesome. He tentatively selected the core module in the middle structure, information processing. The corresponding function should be the enhancement of short-term observation and computing power. There are 9 kinds and 12 sentences in the dragon language, which ordinary glass can't carry, and special glass that he can't handle. If you directly use metal for recording, you have to use tools such as industrial machine tools and laser engraving machines, which are absolutely impossible in the kitchen. Glass Alchemist has a limit.jpg. A lengthened sedan stopped at the entrance of the hotel, and the 4 stepped into the German Mediterranean Sea one after another. Lin Zhan, a very tall and beautiful clerk, and finally an uncle with a beer belly in a flamboyant floral shirt and a silver suit. The students in the hall were shocked by Uncle Cowboy, and some people were ready to withdraw on the spot. He raised his cowboy hat, whistled, and winked at the pretty girls in the hall. He is the most beautiful vice principal of Castle College, a walking hormone machine, and an ageless cowboy. Luo Yin seemed to be hit by one of his winks, and felt a chill in his heart. Leonardo Flammel bloodline, A and attribute, spirit word spirit, discipline word effect, creates a silent field of power and elements. Domain repression, size and pedigree alchemy items, 1. Self-made alchemy revolver. The power that can hit the 4 generations directly. 2. Small alchemy array. Used to strengthen the word spirit. Precepts 3. A 5th element bullet, 3 generations from the lineage of the king of the earth and the mountain. Remarks, the name of Flammel belongs only to the greatest alchemist among the mixed races in the world. Don't underestimate any Flammel, even if he has a beer belly and a cowboy hat. Special status, blast blood residue. What monster, such a useful word spirit, it will be mine in 2 months. Seriously, the peak of contemporary alchemists is just that, and alchemy has indeed declined. What the is a blood burst, there are so many thieves in the notes, let's look back. Goldmanstein bloodline, B and attribute, spirit word spirit, snake word spirit effect, create a snake in the form of electric current, walk through the surrounding environment, and feed back 3-dimensional information to the brain in real time. The range is large, the physical energy consumption is large, and the effect of the snake is limited by the conductivity of the material alchemy items. None. It is also a good speech spirit, which can construct 3-dimensional images in the brain. Arrange. The clerk's name is Wang Wangqian, C and grade, and Yanling is also a bloodline. This is really useless words of a rotten street. The interview begins. Luo Yin was ranked 8th, and Chu Zihang was the 3rd from the bottom. Another girl named Chen Xian was in the middle. Chen Xian lineage, sea and attribute, miscellaneous Yanling, winter word spirit effect, reduce body energy consumption, reduce heart rate, breathing rate, and body temperature, and enter into a hibernation-like state. Alchemy items, none it is used to sneak attack or pretend to be dead. This kind of analysis is not in a hurry. The first girl went in for the interview and came out in 8 minutes with a broken expression. The second boy entered. He prepared a detailed self-introduction, both in Chinese and English. Competition award-winning experience, social practice experience, well-designed humorous speeches, etc. What do you think your interests and talents are in? Lin Zhan asked. Math. There are 100 points on the plane. To prove whether there must be a straight line, you can divide the 100 points into 50 points on each side. Think for 3 minutes, without providing paper and pencil, and dictate your proof process. I like English. You have no chance. The bald German's eyes were serious and scary. After all, he was an excellent student of Shilan, and he eloquently dictated some proof ideas in 3 minutes. The second question, Wan Wangqian asked. Do you believe in natural human rights? The German guy shook his head when he heard the answer, while the old cowboy was watching a western. The third question. Do you believe in UFOs, aliens, ancient civilizations, or supernatural events? The big rout of the interviewee. The third interviewee. I like history. Please briefly discuss the influence of supernatural factors in the dispute between Lu Xiu and Gong Sun Shu. Foreign language. For the following questions, please choose one of the languages of Ainu, Old Norse, Yucatan, etc. to answer, or discuss your understanding of the development and change process of ancient language grammar. Can you say it yourself? Manstein, at number UN %, and %, UN number dot. Philosophy. For free will, Kantian moralism, the grand narrative of the nation-state, express your views from any angle. Shaking his head, still shaking his head. Luo Yin found 2 patterns in the interviews of the first 7 people. First, the interview time for girls is generally 15% longer than that for boys. Second, the interviewees are all broken down, angry, disappointed, and self-blame, but the most common emotion is doubt. This shows that there are color embryos in the interviewer. The interview questions are definitely difficult and unreasonable. To him. Enter the door and sit down. Luo Yin, what is your goal of going to Castle College? The vice principal asked in person. Learn alchemy. The question was surprisingly straightforward. If I was tinkering with it myself, I might only be able to make gadgets and handicrafts for the rest of my life. Castle College has the knowledge and resources I need. What about dragon slaying? If the Dragon King wakes up in your hometown, how would you deal with it? I'm doing logistics and researching alchemy items that can kill the Dragon King. I can't go to the frontal battlefield. Junior brother Chu is the kind of dragon-slaying warrior you need. Luo Yin had a dead pig's posture that was not afraid of boiling water. Among the 4 monarchs, the King of Bronze and Fire holds the supreme power of metal and smelting, and is the ultimate in alchemy. The old man's eyes were rarely serious. He looked at Luo Yin, his burning golden pupils molten red gold. Even Manstein felt his heart palpitate at the power of his father's blood. The alchemy knowledge mastered by the mixed race is different from that of the sun and the moon. According to the legend, the weapons he forged by himself can even kill other kings. If the King of Bronze and Fire is willing to teach you his alchemy knowledge and promotion your bloodline, the price is to become his servant. Would you like to? Under these eyes, no one can lie. I don't agree. I don't agree with your point of view. Several interviewers were stunned. When I awakened my bloodline, I saw the decisive battle between the black and white monarchs, the ancient copper pillars towering in the sea of ice. Flamel was a little surprised, this is a very rare vision. Alchemy was not created by the Black Dragon, much less by the Lord of Bronze and Fire. The dragon language is the channel connecting the power of the Dragonborn and the 5 elements. It is an exquisite tool rather than nature, and the same is true for blood. Gravity is not because of Newton, no scholar would call him the of gravity. Alchemy is a subject less involved in human beings due to their own limitations. The King of Bronze and Fire is just old enough and talented enough in this field. In the realm of alchemy, there is no place for gods. Luo Yin poured out a long list of words under pressure. It was only after he finished speaking that he realized how half-hearted his speech was. Unexpectedly, the 2 main interviewers did not smile. Their expressions look very moved. This young man seems to be avoiding the question without answering, but his actual attitude is very clear. Gift? Who is rare? The Dragon Slayer. What he wants is the spirit of daring to pull the Emperor off his horse. You passed, now it's chat time. What is your spirit of words? Mirror pupil. The vice principal nodded. Clevel awakening is a rare high-level word. Reading www.yuyugonshu.com, and it is very suitable for learning alchemy. What about the duration and effect? 10 seconds, it's almost the same as the appraisal technique in the game. Flamel. His comrades back then also had mirror pupil users, and they were all measured in minutes. This is a universal word spirit, on-site profile, psychological cold reading, motion control, mechanical manipulation, and even copying the word spirit. You just pull it like this. After all, the bloodline is still stretched, and it can't bring the spirit of words. The old cowboy patted Luo Yin on the shoulder. Exercise more, strengthen your physical fitness, you will improve. Your glass plate is based on your own words, right? How did you come up with the idea of using glass as a carrier? After repeated investigations, Norma determined that there is no so-called mysterious alchemist. Luck, intuition. There is no other way to explain it. Girlfriend. Cough, single. The object of your crush? Absolutely not. Then you like men? Cough 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 cough. The old cowboy smiled wickedly. It's almost there, just come here. Enjoy life more, don't be serious like an old man. You can come to Chicago in May to familiarize yourself with the environment, and appreciate the beautiful and gentle Chinese girls for a while. This is your tentative mentor, Manstein, the director of the college ethics committee, and you will mess with him in the future. He patted the Mediterranean sun on the shoulder vigorously. Luo Yin bowed to the 4 interviewers and left. Flamel's seriousness just now collapsed again, and he slumped back to the sofa chair. Chu Zihang successfully passed the interview, but Chen Xian gave up and chose to live a quiet life. However, there are many paths to enter the hybrid world, and no one can tell the future. Compared with Luo Yin's second-grade declaration, Chu Zihang's interview was much simpler. Goal: kill the servant, kill the Dragon King. Ideal department: enter the executive department as soon as possible to kill the servant and the Dragon King. The vice principal looked at this young man with the eyes of a lion cub and a strong desire for revenge, and once had a vision of Angers from a century ago. Of course, the moral level of this child seems to be much higher than that of Angers. The academy owed him an apology, it should make up for his losses, and tell him about the original mission and the results of the investigation. But the fact is that even he didn't want to get involved in the S-class top secret file incident. Now the academy has to conduct a special examination on him before he is admitted. The so-called preparatory class is just a pretense. The real reason is to examine the abnormal Nibelungen events he has experienced, and to examine his dangerous bloodline according to the Abrahamic covenant. Gross's school board, Gross's bloodline contract. The news that Chu Zihang and Luo Yin got the offer from Castle caused a lot of repercussions in Chelan. It is natural for Chu Zihang to pass by Luo Yin. Who is Luo Yin? Most of the classmates and teachers sent congratulations, but they were still a little jealous in private. After all, although Luo Yin has good looks, good grades, and friendly people, he has always been a high-end self-closing stand-alone player. Liu Beifei gave him this name originally because he hoped that he would act prudently, restrain his sharpness, keep a low profile, and don't follow his father's example. I didn't expect that the word hidden should be on autism. The principal and the Academic Affairs Office proposed to write an exclusive interview article for them, but he pushed all of them to Chu Dashan. And all kinds of anxious parents who wanted to inquire about the aristocratic schools in the United States came to bother him when they couldn't find Chu Zihang, but Luo Yin had already gone to Arxum Mental Sanatorium for vacation because of a serious mental illness, his original words. As long as I'm rotten enough, no one can torture me. He's been busy these days. The old cowboy spent a few days in various good places, and was stopped at customs with dozens of bottles of good wine. After returning to Castle, Norma sent him the PDF textbooks of the basic courses of the alchemy department, as well as the photocopies of some parchment scrolls and bamboo slips. Flamel, the contemporary master of alchemy, is obviously quite optimistic about him. The advantage of the dragon language parsing system is that it can directly analyze the dragon language model, but that thing can only make people draw pictures, and some of the knowledge in the notes is also very fragmented. The courses in the alchemy department of the academy are very systematic, which is what he needs most at the current stage. In the past 10 days, he huddled at home and studied hard, adding a lot of common sense in alchemy, such as mercury alchemy. He has always been curious before, do high-level alchemists use welding torches to violently burn alchemy arrays on metal every day? It doesn't seem like it's any better to switch from the glass refining profession to welding. In fact, the method is very simple. First, use modern industrial smelting technology to cast the required metal alchemy circuit at one time, and then fill it with the special metal infusion spirit of mercury. Compared with direct hand carving, the difficulty of mercury smelting requires much higher skills of alchemists. But at least he doesn't have to be a welder, does he? The higher-level alchemy technology and some classic alchemy items were just mentioned, and he couldn't quite manage it at this stage. For example, the soul-retaining nail that can block the power of the next generation of dragons, how to give the alchemy field like a wild dragon on the square-inch blade of the sword, flexible restraint, refining, and training technology. For him, the fastest way to become stronger is to absorb the knowledge of the Academy's alchemy system and realize the word spirit model analyzed by the system as soon as possible. He doesn't need to be obsessed with restoring classic alchemy works. On May 1st, Luo Kadai had a cheeky face and asked the leader to ask for a 2-day leave. The family of 3 lived in a lakeside B&B for 2.5 days, with 3 people in 3 rooms, and the atmosphere was very embarrassing at one point. But what should I say, see you more often when you can. Luo Kadai, a big man, had 5 times more tears than his ex-wife. Liu Beifei kept trying to give him money. Luo Yin took out 50,000 yuan of starting capital after tuition and living expenses, which is not a small amount. He put it on credit first. He firmly believed that he could get rich quickly, and then paid it back. After May Day, Luo Yin said goodbye to her homeland and boarded a plane to Chicago. Because of poverty, I bought cheap tickets for 2 flights, and I was tortured for more than a day. Counting the 7-day trip to Southeast Asia in elementary school, this is his 2nd time abroad. Chu Zihang chose the preparatory class in Chicago, but there is still a period of time before the school starts, and he will start a few weeks later than him. When Luo Yin arrived at Chicago's Union Station according to the directions, she was so hungry that her chest was pressing against her back. The onboard pasta served with black pepper sauce and green olives shattered the bottom line of Chinese food lovers. There seems to be only Subway in the station, so let's do it. The Academy informed him that he could take the CC1000 train at the station, but it did not provide a timetable, but only told him to wait patiently on the platform. There was nothing but empty space in front of the designated platform, only 2 benches, and on the left sat a homeless man with a dark face and messy hair. Things like the tramp are like wild monsters that are regularly refreshed in the train station. Luo Yin sat down on the right, chewing a sandwich on the huge suitcase. 7 or 8 pieces of subway wrapping paper were lying at the foot of the homeless man, and he didn't know how many days he had been here. Seeing this young man with a big bag and a small bag, a strange light suddenly appeared in the homeless eyes. "Which bus do you want to take?" It turned out to be a standard Chinese CC 1000. Luo Yin waved the dark green ticket in his hand. "Junior brother. I'm a castle student. I've been waiting for the bus here for many days." "Huh?" Watching the homeless man take out a crumpled green ticket with the joy of seeing his relatives in his eyes, it was quite sudden. Finger von Fring's bloodline, A and attribute, Earth word spirit, Bronze throne word spirit effect, strengthens muscles, looks like bronze, greatly enhances one's own strength. The ancient servants used the bronze body as the monarch to lift the huge frame as the throne of the Dragon King. Special status, Nibelung root mark, blast blood residue. Luo Yin was shocked and took a half step back subconsciously. "Good guy, Nibelungen is like a toilet, UA class, come and go as you want." Fingal's defeated dog-like eyes froze for a moment. He thought he was disliked by his younger brother. "Your small actions hurt so much. Senior brother? How long have you been waiting here?" 3 days, 3 full days. There is only 1 bus a week for non-freshman enrollment. I don't know when this week's students will come. By the way, what level are you, junior brother?" "C." Fingal, "Ah, I'm dead." "Junior brother, stay with me here and wait to die. This train has something to do with the level of the students?" "Brother, are you?" "Hee, junior brother, everything about Castle College is related to rank, it is the remnant of the old society of evil. I'm a class, and you're a class. I can only wait here to die. The train will come whenever it wants. If you are a privileged class like a rank, you can make an appointment 1 day in advance." Luo Yin was a little shocked. "How did your A and grade blood and the savage voice of a man get to the D grade?" Fingal, Castle College grade 01, Dragon Neurology. Because repeating grades is considered a senior, he is currently a D grade, and is expected to be an E grade in the second half of the year. "No, can it be extended for 3 years?" Luo Yin, Level 07, Alchemy Department. "Be careful, junior brother. It's easy to fail the Alchemy Department." Luo Yin. "So brother Fingal, if you want to go to the academy, do you have to take the CC 1000 train?" "It seems so." "Where is the location of the college?" "On the top of the mountain, it's about 10 minutes drive by green leather car." "The exact location is not very sure." Luo Yin was thoughtful. "Is that so?" Naturally, the time that Flamel sent him could not be wrong, and there is no CC 1000 train here. He went to the window to inquire again, and found that the staff didn't even know there was this train. "This is a ghost train to Castle College, and no one except the invited hybrids will notice it." The answer is obvious. This is a test. This train and the tracks on which it runs must have used a huge amount of alchemy technology, thus building a magical defense line for the academy. The old cowboy hoped that he could find the academy directly through the knowledge of alchemy without using the train. The actual distance may be more than 10 kilometers, and his physical strength is enough to walk there, as long as he can decipher the alchemy in it. Of course Luo Yin wouldn't wait here foolishly. He chose to accept this little challenge with good intentions. Seeing that the newly arrived junior brother bought several ham sandwiches, the German defeated dog thought he had one of his own. In the end, the younger brother didn't say a word, turned on the flashlight and walked towards the track. He also smiled at him. "Senior brother, I'm going first." Fingal, what are young people thinking now? Completely incomprehensible. Going deep into the tunnel, he really felt a faint spirit aura. There should be a lot of alchemy circuits encapsulated inside the wall. After walking with a flashlight for more than an hour, the strength of the spirit gradually increased. He could feel a slight upward slope. From the afternoon until sunset, Luo Yin finally saw the sun again. Around the rails is a sea of tall old trees. The environment in Chicago does not seem to be suitable for such a species to grow. From here, each track is part of a huge alchemy formation. Between the sea of trees, are the dilapidated sleeper rails that wind up infinitely and disappear. The system's analysis cooldown has not ended, and it is impossible for him to use the analysis opportunity to find his way. However, the system can help him determine the approximate distribution range and effect of the alchemy array. Are the senses disturbed, as expected? Taking out a pen and paper, Luo Yin took notes as he walked, not forgetting to take pictures with his cell phone. The rails above extend out a lot of forks. When he came to an intersection, he took a few steps to the left at will, and the railroad track came to an end before it extended a few meters. Dead end. Going back and changing direction is a dead end again. Interesting. He picked up a bottle of mineral water, opened the lid and fell down. The water is flowing upwards. It reverses the sense of height and creates a little visual error. Luo Yin briefly opened the mirror pupil to collect information, made a gesture on the paper, and passed the test in a few minutes. Soon there was another fork in the road. These alchemy arrays are not high-end, nor lethal. However, the composition is becoming more and more complex, it is becoming more and more difficult to identify one's true situation, and the error rate of solving problems is gradually increasing. There are already a few stars above the head, and the waves surging in the sea of trees are spectacular and beautiful. If he hadn't gotten lost. He drew dozens of pages on the manuscript paper, dragged his suitcase and walked through the labyrinth for hours. Luo Yin's face was full of haggard. One thing to say, objective analysis, he is a little afraid of the dark. It seems that this kind of deep mountain old forest may burrow out a few big white-fronted worms at any time. As expected of you, Master Flamel. Mass production of alchemy items using such ordinary rails can actually create such a huge labyrinth. About 3 hours passed, Luo Yin sensed a mysterious silence. Not the silence of the sound, but the silence of the elements. This is Yanling. Precepts, the suppression power is very weak. He is very close. In the middle of the night, Luo Yin walked the last part of the road in the dark and crossed the terminal station of the train. Drilled out of the forest grass, full of exhaustion, covered in dirt and sweat. But he still did it. In the distance, red brick walls, old iron fences, Yu reading www.yu. Stately gate in Gothic style. Gate of Castle. The entire academy is located on a super-large alchemy array, and the alchemists, relying on their powerful bloodline and alchemy skills, use discipline to forcibly suppress the flow of elements throughout the campus. Luo Yin ran to the gate excitedly, running towards his university life. Who? Stop! Stop! A dozen red dots landed on the boy at the same time, making his body stiff. The janitors on duty jumped out from the door and quickly surrounded Luo Yin in a well-trained formation. Intense fatigue and the pressure of more than a dozen guns made his knees go weak and he half knelt on the ground. I'm a good citizen. I'm a student, a student. It's a student, why don't you take the train? Who can prove your identity? The leading janitor was a vicious bald black man. Professor Manstein, Master Flamel. The professor is on a business trip and is not in the service area. Flamel, who is it? By the way, Norma. The phone was out of power. You were arrested for trying to break into Castle College illegally, stay here until tomorrow morning, and explain clearly. At 7 o'clock the next morning, Luo Yin in the gate post was awakened by the sound of the train. His hands were tied and his mind was confused. Fingal rubbed his eyes and got out of the car with his head on his head. At the school gate, he saw the miraculous junior brother from yesterday. He really climbed up on his own, and was by the janitor. Luo Yin looked at him with 3 parts numbness, 6 parts melancholy and 1 part sadness. It turned out that it was better to just wait one more night. The clown was himself. Ha ha ha. Oh ha 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 ha. Luo Yin's face was as dark as the old cowboy laughed. Did you forget, it was a major misunderstanding caused by your blind posting of train times. But it's not bad to be able to walk up on your own. The question you asked about the alchemy studio before can be temporarily solved for you. The abandoned production line of the equipment department was remodeled by some veteran students to complete some alchemy processes. The monthly rent is $3,000, and the entrusted assistance fee is calculated separately. A black businessman among black businessmen. But he had no choice but to be slaughtered. A complete set of modern equipment that can meet high-level alchemy craftsmanship is conservatively estimated to cost $400,000 to $500,000. And he has just started learning programming, and he does not know how to use many professional engineering software. It is said that the equipment department also has a very mature 3D printing production line, but even if he gets it, he will not be able to get started. The knowledge of the dragon race may be very obscure and esoteric, but the knowledge of human beings cannot be achieved in a day or two. At this stage, if he wants to try mercury alchemy, he can only draw hand-painted drawings, entrust others to model and cast them, and then practice how to inject mercury by himself. Mercury alchemy is a compulsory course for every alchemist, and the formation of mercury alchemy is the first step towards freedom and variety of alchemical items. You should pay attention to protection when you try it with a small body. If an alchemist dies of mercury poisoning, he will accompany him after his death. Carve it on your grave. Clevel blood dishes. Pure physical fitness does not have many advantages compared to ordinary people, and a little excess of mercury vapor can take him away. He didn't know what the identity of Flamel was so far, and no one in the academy knew the name. It may be a relatively low-key professor in the alchemy department. The hybrid species has a long lifespan, and it is possible that no one remembers it. Fingal graciously helped him carry some of his luggage and headed to the dormitory assigned by Norma. The price was for him to eat 3 meals of pork knuckle with sauerkraut, in exchange for Fingal not to expose on the student forum that a freshman was arrested at the gate of Castle. Castle's housing area is particularly sufficient, and he has no problem arriving at the school 4 months in advance to allocate dormitories. Quadruple rooms are usually unsatisfactory, and double rooms are more common, and there are not many people living alone. Asking is doing tasks all over the world. The roommate Norma assigned him was Yesheng, a Chinese who was about to be a senior. He is an excellent A-level student. It's a coincidence that our dormitories are quite close. The 2 dormitories are on the left and right ends of the same floor. The door was not closed, and it is estimated that Yesheng had already seen the message sent by Norma. Luo Yin pushed open the door and entered. Yesheng is a typical handsome Chinese guy with short black hair and a relatively masculine face. Slightly dark complexion, should exercise outside regularly. He was leaning against the wall of the balcony, his right hand intertwined with a girl's fingers. The girl was much shorter than Yesheng. Yesheng lowered his forehead, and there was only a piece of paper between his lips and the girl's forehead. There was a hint of pink on her beautiful face, like the peach blossoms in Jiangnan in early March. It was at this beautiful and delicate moment that the door was pushed open. Luo Yin, who had been in social anxiety for many years, subconsciously wanted to close the door and pretend that nothing happened, while Fingal was about to take out his phone to take a picture. You should go up with a. Fingal quickly coaxed. Shutokuyaji's face flushed, and he pushed Yesheng away at once, standing at a loss. Yesheng's neat, aggressive temperament is like a lone wolf, while the girl is clumsy and cute like a little duck. Looking at the 2 people in the room, Luo Yin had some unreasonable reverie. The wolf and the little yellow duck seemed to be an unexpected match. Senior brother yet? I'm really sorry, we thought you were alone. I wish you 2 good luck in love. Luo Yin turned around and was the one you gave to Luda, but was stopped by Yesheng. Level 04, Yesheng, Dragon Genealogy from the History Department, is doing an internship in the Executive Department. Luo Yin, a freshman in the 07 Alchemy Department, came to the school to report in advance. This is senior brother Fingal who came to help. While Luo Yin shook hands with Ye Sheng, he was embarrassed until his toes were on the ground. Nima, Fingal? Why did you bring the Imperial Army into the village, your junior brother with thick eyebrows and big eyes? Level 04, Shodoku Yaji, Dragon Genealogy, Ye Sheng and I are our trainee partners. Yaji trimmed her hair and covered her blushing. Tisk tisk, fall in love during working hours. First meeting, please take care. The classic greetings of the second dimension are made of Luo Yin's plastic Japanese. Junior brother speaks Japanese well. Complimented against his will. However, Lucy-ku is rarely used by Japanese young people, except for the bad ones on the streets. Luo Yin looked at the girl's gentle smile, like cotton clouds and April spring breeze, and probably understood how Ye Sheng fell. Aji, we'd better take the initiative to attack, this is Fingal. Ye Sheng said seriously. The girl hesitated for a moment, then nodded in agreement. That's Fingal. If they don't post it, they will have paparazzi hair, and they will post very strange things, such as forbidden romance in the office and the like. Junior brother, please wait a moment. Brother Fingal, you also wait a moment. Ye Sheng and Aji walked to the balcony and started posing to show their affection. Luo Yin couldn't understand a little. Junior brother Luo, next to you is the paparazzi department, the Minister of Information Department. Stay away from the Information Department. They are the most terrifying departments besides the Executive Department and the Equipment Department. Even Principal Angers dares to write rosy news, except for the mysterious deputy. You can make up anything except the principal. Junior and brother have won the prize. This is not a compliment at all. Brother, you are the dog of dogs, the king of all dogs in castle. The young couple quickly took photos of their love, picked a few photos of travel and training, and started editing the copy. If the secret romance is destined to be exposed, they choose to blow themselves up. Ye Sheng and Yaji updated their status on various social apps simultaneously, and the comment area was filled with 99 blessings. The Night Watchman forum is also updated simultaneously, and Dive Fish and Aji have worked hard today will always form a good relationship. After Fingal was expelled, Aki went back to the dormitory by himself, inevitably accepting all kinds of gossip from his roommate. Aji and I met in swimming class. I grew up on the banks of the Yangtze River, and seeing her like a landslide helped me a little bit. Ye Sheng mentioned his love history with a smile on his face. My former roommate went to the European branch to study in his third year, so I was, Luo Yin showed an expression that I understand everything. Junior brother, you are a direct recruit, have you never attended a preparatory class? No, I just learned about Castle in March. Then it's right for you to report in advance. Learn more and get used to it. Especially if you are an alchemist, your high school knowledge may not be enough. Thank you, I have already felt it. It's normal for alchemy students to go to the laboratory, and there are many credits to take in the course. At the end of the semester, most of the people sent away by the ambulance are from the alchemy department. The difficulty is probably second only to the so-called death major of dragon genetics. In the freshman year, there is also the opportunity to change majors, and studying engineering is easier than alchemy. Not good. What about the employment situation in the alchemy department? According to the level of graduation works and thesis, the alchemy department does not pay much attention to the results of the war practice class. The more powerful ones can stay in the alchemy department to teach or enter the equipment department of the college. UU reading www.uugonshu.com. The equipment department is a comparison. Nice department. The logistics department that is dispatched to various branches of the world is also good, and it is relatively free. The options are quite rich, after all, they are senior technicians, and the premise is that they can successfully graduate. One or two of you, don't keep mentioning such terrifying terms, he's still a third-year high school kid. If you want to enroll, you must first go to the student office to register and report to get a student ID card. Student ID cards are very important in the college. The meal card, bank card, and ID card are integrated. In addition, if you didn't take the preparatory class, the college should arrange physical education classes and general knowledge classes for you soon. Ye Sheng looked at Luo Yin's small body, and estimated that the five tied together would not be able to beat Aji, and the first-year gym class would definitely fail. You can stroll around in the afternoon and evening. The Hall of Valor and Norton Hall are very solemn and beautiful. You can go all the way to the top of the mountain when you leave the school gate, and the scenery is very open. Be careful not to go to the separate small building in the open space to the north, that is the principal's office building. The clock tower cannot be entered either. The clock tower is the site of the night watchman. Night guard. The legendary vice principal rarely shows up except in the girls' swimming class. He is very powerful in the school and is very mysterious. The night watch forum and the news department are all his creations. Besides, I have always suspected that he was conspiring against the position of principal. Then what kind of person is the principal? Principal Angers is an old gentleman, the greatest dragon slayer of our time, a great educator and thinker, and a strategist in the war against dragons. Speaking of which, I'm still a member of the Heat. The Heat. It's the support group of Principal Angers, organized by the students who admire him. Luo Yin, senior brother, I have to reconsider your evaluation. Who? A beautiful college life begins with a sudden death on the track. He still remembers the fear of being dominated by 1,000 meters during the physical exam in junior high school. How easy it seems now. Every afternoon, the physical fitness class starts with the warm-up of the 3-kilometer long-distance running. Physical fitness class is only a small part of physical education class. The physical education class of Talong Academy is very practical and diverse. Fighting is the top priority, followed by swimming, diving, cross-country with weight, reconnaissance, and lurking, etc., all of which are counted in the credits of sports. He doesn't need to participate in any of these. Just the most basic physical training has already crushed him. High school students have little exercise, and the Clevel bloodline only makes his physical fitness a little bit better than ordinary people, which is pure waste compared to the freshmen of Monster Academy. Luo Yin, come on, there's only 1 mile left. Adjust your breathing, keep your pace, and concentrate. I need. Run for my mother. Do you want me to chase you in a jeep? Run for me. The female instructor roared like a tyrannosaurus. Luo Yin took another step forward, a medical miracle. Faster. Faster. Wang Ba pretends to run faster than you with 2 reels. Hell ah. At this moment, how much he wished that he had a power and speed type word spirit. This is his 8th physical fitness class, and his main achievement is to shorten the distance he is thrown away, from 400 meters to 300 meters. And greatly improved the resistance to the instructor's roar. Look, what is that? It's a Blevel bloodline student who has a voice. Moment, he is as light as the wind, he is gone. The strengthening of the hybrid race by the dragon blood has a certain direction, which is closely related to the type of the word spirit. And Jing Tong is obviously not a battle word spirit. Take a shower in the evening, catapult him into the bed, and keep his eyes closed. Ye Sheng and Ye Ji have completely released themselves since they announced their relationship. They are tired and crooked together all day long and hardly go back to the dormitory. Oh, the final gossip version of the Ministry of Information is shock. The executive commissioner actually did this kind of thing in the students' dormitory, in the Peach News on the edge of the page. Ye Sheng and Ye Ji are both models of hard-working students. Ye Sheng's bloodline is Blevel, and Aji is B, but by GPA, internship experience, etc., he has been promoted to A level year by year. It can be regarded as giving Luo Yin some hope, and if he works hard, he may also become an A level master. During this time, he also learned a bit of alchemy textbooks, mainly about mercury alchemy, and designed his first mercury alchemy item. He named it the Key of Wisdom, and the model was derived from the information processing module of Yanling Jingtong. But it failed repeatedly due to difficulty. Level 0.5 Alchemy Items. The Key to Wisdom effect: wearing this item, feeding a trace amount of mixed blood, obtains a slight increase in analysis and calculation ability or is completely invalid. Triggering method: the wearer's trace blood note. Alchemist insisted he did not fail. Pathetic. The key to the handicapped: get out of the system. Mocking in English, this is China. The mercury alchemy technology is roughly divided into 3 steps. First, loop casting, that is, casting a hollow metal model according to the designed alchemy array. Luo Yin entrusted the laboratory of the former equipment department to mass-produce 10 hollow brass keys by means of CNC machine tools and laser engraving. Second, mercury injection, which is the actual alchemy process. It sounds simpler than hand carving, but it's actually the opposite. The mercury is injected from multiple directions at the same time, and the flow rate in different inscriptions are very different, and the spiritual injection must be maintained at all times. It tests hands, eyes, brains and, most importantly, luck. It took a lot of cost, and the result was only one crippled product. Third, packaging. Pack the alchemy item with a material or inert material that counteracts the material of this alchemy item to improve the safety and stability of the alchemy item and maintain its inner spirit. Specifically, the key to this piece of wisdom is to use industrial glue to seal it, and then carry out a lead plating process to prevent heavy metal radiation. How intimate! Permanent memories went very smoothly. Dozens of glass were mass-produced, and the scrap rate was only 6,070%. The advanced version of natural quartz has also been produced, and the storage capacity has been further improved. He has fully realized 2 realities: even if there is a system, it is impossible for him to go all the way in alchemy. In order to continue his alchemist journey smoothly, he had to make money, quickly and hard. After a moment of meditation, Luo Yin had a plan. What's up in June? There are love stories, there are practical war lessons, there are all kinds of DDL. And most importantly, there are final exams. Students tormented by history classes, linguistics, and other memory subjects, your savior has come. In the Night Watchman forum in the middle of the night, a level 1 trumpet went online silently. Did Fingal graduate today? Are you still worried about the final exam? Are you afraid of failing the course, retaking and postponing graduation? The power of alchemy is here to help you out. The super practical alchemy item Eternal Memory, a glass ball, allows you to remember the textbook and never forget it. High definition picture of glass ball with the official certification of the college, referring to being arrested, the old man is innocent. Limited time discounted price of $400 each. Quantities are limited, pre-order as soon as possible. Accept cash, credit card, student card settlement. If interested, please click privately. After 5 minutes, fish. 5 minutes later, I'll fish again. Anonymous ID, are you the descendant of the glass alchemist? No matter how desperate people are at the end of the period, they will not believe the glass ball. I love dragon genetics, a liar will swallow 1,000 dragon breaths. People are running with buckets in the Alchemy Engineering Institute, the landlord takes this as a graduation work, and is guaranteed to be grade A. Did Fingal graduate today? Picture a screenshot of the backstage interface of the Hunter website Alchemy, and a screenshot of the payment collection from the executive department. Anonymous ID, Alchemy. Is the owner Alchemy himself? Anonymous ID, living in Castle, UU. Reading www.uugonshu.com is not the most outrageous, only more outrageous. Anonymous ID, Worship the giant. Film. Anonymous ID, tomorrow is Dragon Genealogy, 1, I'm going to die woo woo woo. Buying, has been privately stamped. Anonymous ID, private stamped. Cambridge knife, who wants to cheat in my class? November rain, catch a wild principal. Killer Queen, capture. Anonymous ID, dangerous, the landlord is in danger. In the middle of the night, the first post of a level 1 account made the Night Watchman forum lively. After 10 minutes of posts, hundreds of floors were built, and Luo Yin's background received a large number of transaction requests and friend requests. Just a minute later, he was banned. After the blonde Dior avatar, there is only one sentence left, this account function is temporarily unavailable. But the post was still there, and in an instant it was a memorial post from the 10th floor in deep mourning for Mr. Alchemy, with a black and white head portrait. Later, there was even a conspiracy theory, which was the ruthless punishment of the young warlock by the veteran alchemist Night's Watch. The next day, Luo Yin sat in Fengji's office with a smirk on his face. Opposite is his mentor, the director of the Mediterranean Ethics Committee, Manstein. Manstein reluctantly flipped through the evidence catalogue, that is, the chat records. Next to it are the seized stolen goods involved in the case, dozens of glass balls. Luo Yin's road to riches, he died before he was successful. This is the third time you were arrested before you entered school. Tell me, why is this? This is not an illegal transaction, I seriously defend it. According to the school rules, low-level alchemy items can be circulated normally between mixed races and a small amount of profit can be obtained. Do you have anything to say about your preparation to assist cheating? Manstein said helplessly. This student is really the most bizarre one he has ever brought. He started to make a mess before he entered school, and he still danced on the issue of the discipline of the students he banned. Can it be called cheating by using alchemy items to take the exam? If you remember it with a glass ball, you will remember it. Luo Yin, I am very rebellious. Manstein felt a headache as he pressed his glowing forehead. Doesn't the Academy know the terrifying value of permanent memories? Of course I know. The reason why this has not been dealt with is because of the potentially huge benefits. The higher-ups at the college, especially the Board of Trustees, are still debating what to do with it. Some of the old antiques of the school board are typical blood supremacy, a crossage alchemy item that Crank happened to tinker with. Here you go, little brat. Gather a group of alchemists and ask them if they have a hand in mass production. Give some spiritual comfort money afterwards and you're done. The principal and the old cowboy stood up for their students as always, but their goal was to retain more benefits for the students. Eternal memory is a very low-level alchemy item, unable to store experience memory, and the form of memory is a very strange dead data form, which can only be remembered by concentration. But this does not prevent it from becoming a great alchemical item because it's so cheap. According to the report of the Alchemy Institute of the Ministry of Equipment, the performance of the production version may decrease and the scrap rate will increase, but the cost can be controlled below $50 each. When Director Man was having a headache, Engers sent the final plan. The big stone in his heart finally fell. As for the prospective student Luo Yin's alchemy work Eternal Memory, the Academy currently offers 2 acquisition plans. Option 1, one-time buyout. $500,000, permanently buy out the production process and exclusive sales rights of all similar products. The inventor reserves the right to produce, use and donate a small amount. Option 2, grant a production license to the outside world with a one-time payment of $50,000, and pay the inventor $5 for every alchemy item that uses related technologies sold in the future, with a license period of 50 years. Inventors can produce and sell in small quantities. Luo Yin's eyes turned green. How much is it? $500,000. He can retire and go directly to X City to retire. Castle College? Bye-bye. The great cause of slaughtering dragons can realize self-worth, and making money is even more realized. Thank you, Dragon Language Analysis System. Your expression has already told me what you are thinking. You have to wash, sign a confidentiality letter when you drop out of school. What to wash? Shampoo? Oh, it's brainwashing, that's fine. Luo Yin remembered the Japanese man he had caught a glimpse of a few days ago, Masashi Toyama, a teacher in the counseling office. Yan Ling had the effect of hypnosis and psychological suggestion. Fucking George Orwell College, there are no human rights anymore. Another thing, for student Luo Yin's premeditated sale of alchemy items in an attempt to help students cheat, he made a demerit, disqualified from the scholarship for the first semester, and submitted a 3,000 word handwritten repentance letter within 3 days. Is there any objection? How dare I have it? Plan 1 or Plan 2? 2, 2, 2, 2, I still have a long life. I have to pay it a 100 YEAR rent at least. Manstein, when you know the prophecy of the Dragon King's collective recovery, you won't be so confident. In addition to realizing a little financial freedom, another good thing today is that the cooldown time for analysis has finally arrived. Parsable objects, 14, parsable times, 1, do you want to start parsing? Choose word spirit. Precepts, start analyzing. Analysis, estimated analysis time, 8 hours. He has detected a lot of word spirits during this period of time, among which the high-risk level like Junyan cannot be parsed. Words such as clean land and bronze throne have higher serial numbers and less analysis data, so the probability of failure is not low, and only incomplete models may be obtained. Jingtong, as his own voice, is the only exception. And after analyzing the precepts, he might be able to break the precepts in the campus and use the precepts normally. Has great strategic significance. In the afternoon, it was another Tahur training, and Luo Yin went back to the bedroom to take a shower, exhausted. Yesheng is in love with Yaji's high-intensity text messages, staring at the screen and giggling continuously. Brother Yet, you may have love, but what I get is money. The process of waiting is always so torturous. He has always been curious about the principle of the wonderful word of precepts. Is it just relying on high bloodline and spiritual strength to suppress it? One man against a whole campus of mixed races? Even if Flamel is a super hybrid close to S, is it reasonable? It's not. Analysis is complete word spirit. Precepts effect, create a silent field of elements and powers, prohibiting other dragons from using the word spirit. Use 29 sentences, 27 kinds of sentences. The model is as follows: recommended carrier for alchemical items, mercury, death metal, sterling silver. It is a superimposed structure of 3 layers of triangles and perfect circles, which looks simpler than a mirror pupil. The principle of discipline is quite different from what he expected. The bottom level structure is an order, which probably means stabilize and ban. In the middle is the operating system, which boots and maintains the operation of elements within the domain. The outermost layer is diffusion and amplification. To put it simply, the reason why the dragons can use the spirit of words is because of the specificity of their spirit and the power flowing in the blood tissue, and they have the ability to directly communicate and operate the 5 elements. And the precepts, the word spirit, closed the open element system. In this closed box, any form of power tampering is not allowed. All elements must move and change according to the rules of the precepts, that is, operate in accordance with the rules of nature. And the diffusion and amplification structure of the outer layer allows the domain of this word spirit to expand to an incredible extent through the use of alchemy items. From the perspective of spirituality, the precepts are not considered high-level spirituality, but analyzing the constitution of the precepts is of great significance for understanding the whole principle of spirituality. And now, old cowboy, your words belong to me. Luo Yin. After the physical fitness class and general knowledge class ended in early June, Luo Yin struggled with discipline for a long time. The outer structure is optional, and the inner to layer structure is indispensable. UU reading www.uugonshu.com is actually much more complicated than memory and mentally handicapped keys. The final design was a circular steel base below, with a multi-layered loop infused with mercury, a small bronze pyramid above, filled with sterling silver. This thing is just raw materials and labor costs, and one will cost more than 1,000 knives. If he hadn't just entered the well-off class by selling patents, he would have been suffocated by heartache. The amount of engineering and complexity of this thing is really not overwhelmed, but his mirror pupils have now improved to a point where they can last for about 30 seconds. After suffering for 7 or 8 days, he seems to have succeeded. Level 1 Alchemy Item Town Spirit Tower Effect, weakens the power of word spirits within a radius of 3 meters, and is invalid for high-risk word spirits. How to inspire, concentrate on the top of the tower. Remarks, a level 1 alchemy item that was barely successful. You are really small. Luo Yin looked at the pyramid on the table and fell into philosophical contemplation. In the huge discipline field of the campus, he can't use the mirror pupil, and every time he goes to the laboratory outside the school to make it. Now that he has successfully made the Tower of Spirituality, he can no longer use the spirit of words. He was very successful. In a way he succeeded, but he failed again. Fortunately, the system did not let him down. Make a level 1 alchemy item for the first time, and reward the special model Spellbreaker. Can be used to craft alchemical items. Remarks, I hacked the program. You hacked me. Compared with the model of the mirror pupil and the precepts, the Lawbreaker model is much simpler, just a single-eared ball with 13 inscriptions. Its effect is exactly the opposite of the precepts. The precepts maintain absolute order, while the lawbreakers create turbulent flow of elements. Luo Yin's eyes flickered. This model is his hope of becoming a castle extrajudicial fanatic.